Really enjoyed this chat at CoreBike with Bryn Morgan, the mastermind behind Peaty's products. We discuss everything from keeping your bike clean, how often you should clean your e-bike, choosing the best chain lube for the conditions, tubeless repair, and Peaty's unique approach to frame storage. If there's anything that interests you today, or there's anything you've seen on Peaty's website, they've been kind enough to provide us with a discount code. Check it out here, and I will also add it in the description below. I'm with Bryn from Peaty's. You are actually heavily involved with the design of all the products, is that right?
That is right.
And so definitely the one to speak to. So the one thing I'd like to ask you about really is caring for your e-bike, because it's a bit of a contentious subject, but I myself personally in the winter clean my e-bike a lot less than I would in the summer. Yeah. Is that the right thing to do?
Depends on your e-bike.
Okay.
Probably.
What, the brand and motor, are we saying?
It could depend on how big your loam shelf is at the back, getting that.
Loam shelf?
Yeah, on your multi-linkage, your loam, your mud sticks on here, and you can end up clogging your back wheel up, and you might just have to give it a bit of a cursory clean between rides so it doesn't get too jammed up. I would try, if there's any big visual bits of mud, I'd definitely try and get that off, just to keep it easy to clean. It depends on the manufacturer. I'd just make sure hopefully you've got a nicely designed frame that's easy to clean, and just depends on the conditions, depends how muddy it gets.
Okay, so in terms of the tools that you've got here, now this one, I want to know where the inspiration from this came from.
Have a guess.
Because I've cleaned a fair few toilets in my life, and I know that would be very, very useful.
I've got one in the warehouse actually. So normal brushes, this has got my goat for years, cleaning bikes.
Yeah. Flat
panel, bristles coming out that side.
Yeah.
Now, that's come from the car industry. So cleaning panels of cars, flat panels on cars, nice and easy. Bikes are tubes, corners, nooks and crannies, multi-link pivot, it's tight. So next time you clean your bike with a flat brush, just listen to it clattering around your frame, and it's not a great experience. So this cleans everywhere it touches, cleans not clatters, that's the tagline. Like that. It's just really satisfying to use, and it's pretty, the small head inside there can get into very small spaces still. It's not a big wide head, so you still get into your frame, get into lots of different bits and bats. It's great. The bristles, all of the bristles on our brushes are post-consumer recycled. Okay. These ones are laser flagged on the end to make them even foamier. So what I tend to do is rinse the bike down, get all the big bits of mud off, stuff that's going to scratch your bike, get all that gone. Give your bike a spray with cleaner. Our cap has a flip at the front, so either foam mode or a mist spray. Yeah. Open the cap and spray all over your bike on a mist mode. That won't use as much cleaner, and you get a better coverage. And then give this a wet and spray it with cleaner, and then just go to town. And you can be pretty light on spraying on the bike in the first place. Anywhere that's grotty, focus on, and then just go to town with this. It's brilliant. And then we've got two other main ones. This one is very thin, so it's a single core of wire. Yeah. Typically with manufacturers, you've got to come out and then you've got to bend the wire and come back into the handle. Definitely. So you don't have an open wire to scratch your bike. Okay. So I've worked with this manufacturer. It's actually a UK manufacturer producing the Far East. I tried for 2 years to make these brushes in England, and lots of depressed Midlanders telling me I've got to go to China to have them made. Honestly, and in Europe, they just basically won't make them. So UK company, made in China. So I worked with UK engineers to make sure we could have a single core, plastic protected so it won't scratch your frame. Okay. It's buried deep in there, epoxied in, it's not going anywhere. And that basically covers the raw end of the metal. Yeah, so it does a bit of cleaning, but it's mainly to protect it. Okay. And you can get that certainly around motors, multi-linkage bikes, pedals, spindles and stuff. That's really fine detail stuff. Drivetrain brush. So it's like a toothbrush, but so you've got bathroom theme going on. Yeah. So you've got stepped brush in the middle. So they're shorter bristles, so a bit more coarse, a bit more aggressive. Longer bristles on the side to get the side of the chain. And then, most importantly, we've angled it because the first ones we did weren't angled. They were straight, and we kept on punching the cassette. So
I've done that.
A few bloody knuckles later, we bent it to the side.
Yes.
So it gets your hand away. We had a bit of a right-left-handed concern, but actually always to the left of the bike, like with pedalling that way and scrubbing that side.
Good point. Okay.
So chisel tip to get any gacky stuff off around your jockey wheels or anything like that. Beach handle, again PCR bristles.
Nice that.
And that one is a tyre brush. So you always stood to the side of your bike, right? So it's stepped here to go around the curvature of the tyre.
Yep.
Get all the mud off your tyre. Peaty particularly is very fussy, sorry Steve, about cleaning his bike, and he'll clean his bike and then carry it back to his man cave to put it away. So having clean tyres is also important. But this is also really good cleaning your cassette.
Okay.
So it's the same bristles actually as this one, so they're nice and durable and stiff. So drivetrain all over, but that'll do. Yeah.
The cassette's an interesting one because that's one that I really struggle to get to look like new again.
Good. Need our degreaser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the answer? And then we've got like the lubes basically. We were talking earlier about e-bike specific lubes, but perhaps we should really be talking about the seasons maybe more so, do you think?
Seasons, riding conditions, maintenance schedule as well. Like we've made our lubes to be durable, long lasting, easy to clean running as well. Not, with mountain biking it's certainly less to do with wattage savings and whatever. It's the full picture of everything, and wear. So if a lube might in a lab, it might be X% better in terms of efficiency, in terms of wattage saving. But if you then get in the real world and it attracts dust and grit and grime, that's then going to make your drivetrain wear out 10 times faster and be a lot less efficient. So that's what these are all about. All-weather lube is a combination of waxes and greases that you get in a wet and a dry lube.
Okay.
All mixed together. You kind of can't see there, but the blue bit settles out. So that's quite a thick compound.
Okay.
And there's a clear bit that's anti-corrosive penetrating oil. So when you shake it all together, the clear bit drives the blue bit into the links and then separates again, leaving the blue bit behind. And the clear bit flushes all the crap out of your chain. So first time you use it, your chain, even though you think your drivetrain's clean, it might make chain go a little bit black. So keep on degreasing, keep on using it, and it runs cleaner, promise.
Good to know.
So, yeah.
And then we've got the famous sealant. So this sealant is, I've heard a lot about it. Tell me why this one's special.
It's biodegradable fibres. The bits that you can see are made of eucalyptus starch as well, not plastic.
Okay.
It's a water-based latex formulation, so it's a bit of a balance because if you use a natural latex, you have to suspend a natural latex in chemicals.
Yeah.
You can use a synthetic latex, which sounds bad ecologically, but actually you can then suspend that in water.
Okay.
So there's a big balance to make in terms of longevity in the tyre. So those chemicals that typically you would suspend natural latex in, they gas off a lot easier than water does.
Right. Water
in the sealed environment of a tyre can't escape. So we've got people that have had that sealant in for a year and it's still wet. Certainly in like a temperate kind of EU climate. I mean, we say 6 months on the bottle, but it really does depend where you ride.
Wow.
Whereas other sealants can dry up a lot quicker, and that's to do with the formulation, basically. And this has been around for a while, but the latest version of it is with fibres, biofibres.
Okay.
And that really makes that final difference in terms of, because what you're trying to do is have a compound of a mixture of bits clot the hole like platelets in your blood to allow the latex to bond with the tyre to make that seal. So the more things you can get of different sizes and shapes to clot that hole, the more successful you'll be. So we've not had fibres previously. We knew it would make a big difference. And about 2 years ago, we could have done one with plastic fibres, dead easy. Like you can get them from fashion industry, from the construction industry, no problem. But we didn't, and we pursued it with the cellulose fibres, and we've finally got something that's works, is repeatable in terms of the supply chain, because that's hard. Like, you can get plastic fibres any size you want, but cellulose fibres, they can change and stay stable in there, because shelf life for this, There's like alcohols in here to stop it freezing
Okay.
when it goes below 0, and that will attack cellulose. So it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but it's great.
On the subject of punctures, we need to talk about the tools as well, which are over here. So, in the event of a puncture when running tubeless, what's the solution?
So you need plugs, and you need a pump.
Yeah.
So traditional plugs, plugger tools, they have double-sided head like this,
Yes.
hole in the middle, small gap at the top. And frustration, this is from all of us riders, but from racing with them for years. You say you do an enduro stage, you get a puncture, got a limited time to get it fixed, or you've just got impatient mates, you're not racing, the mates just want to carry on. You have to take gloves off, you have to get the plug out, you've got to handle that plug, make it less sticky, you've got to try and force it through the hole. Even when you've got it through the hole, you put it into the tyre, pull it out again, and it comes back out again, because that gap at the top's too small.
Done it many times.
So we've made ours single-sided, if you can see, do a close up. So single-sided, that means two things. I don't have a plug sheet here, there should be some there, but they've disappeared. So that's like sticky butyl sticks.
Your plugs
basically.
are brown as well.
Yeah, it's like bacon strips.
Yeah.
Or people call them dog turds.
Yeah. Okay.
Call them what you want. So it's like a fibrous mix.
I wish my dog's turds were that small. By the way.
And easy to clean up. Fibrous mix of fibres covered in a butyl rubber, and when you put that in, it helps block the hole and the sealing can do its job. So typically you'd have to peel this plug out of here with your fingers and try and force through the hole. With this, you can just hook it straight out like that. So that's loaded.
That's good, yeah.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Gloves still on.
Yeah.
Bang it in, find the hole, bang it in, and because it's got single-sided hole fork, it will just pull straight back out.
That's neat.
And leave that behind. And these go in there. So there's 3 mils and 3 1.5 mils, and they go in there as a tiny little package.
Very neat. I
There you
like
go.
that.
Very cheap to refresh as well. Like these are not expensive. We sell refill packs of those sheets, so it's just a quick and cost-effective way of doing it. Once you've done that, you need to reinflate your tyre. So the
Indeed.
big problem with tubeless is, probably as you'll know from then setting up tubeless to begin with, popping the tyre onto the bead.
Oh yeah.
There's pre-pressurizable canisters that boom them on and whatever, but when you're on the trail, you don't have that. So with a hand pump, you'd be there forever, you probably wouldn't even be able to do it. You know, if you've ridden for a bit with a flat tyre and the bead's popped off, you won't get it back on again. So CO2 inflators are pretty important.
Yep.
There's a lot of CO2 inflators out there. We do a valve for life guarantee on our tubeless valves. So if you buy them and you snap them, even in a crash, we'll replace them for free. But we get the feedback of why people break them quite a lot of the time. And a lot of the time they're from 90-degree bent CO2 inflators, like torquing the valve bit by mistake.
Done that.
Or fixed head pumps, trying to pump them and they just fatigue the metal and they snap. So this one, we made it straight, so you're coming straight down onto the valve. The good thing about that is you can open up the air path more, which means, because it's 800 odd PSI of liquid CO2 in here, which converts to gas and it goes cold, it's a cold reaction. But if that's a tight air path in there, the ice crystals will build up and it'll block.
Okay.
So with it being straight, you can have a bigger air path, faster air.
Like it.
So the nice thing with this, if you go down like that, the liquid CO2 dumps with gravity into the tyre. And so my tyre is 29 2.4,
Yeah.
fully popped off the bead, nightmare scenario, from 0 to 34 PSI in 7 seconds.
Wow.
It's fast. And up, it's more like 20, because you're using the pressure of the CO2 to drive itself, so it's more like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Still works. But down is great. You just need to make sure your valve core is clear, because it's fast. So yeah, you'll be back on the trail in no time. We've got enduro racers that pop these at the beginning of the day. They're double sealed, so they'll last for weeks unpopped. And then they're strapped with this, either inside or just to the outside of it, so they can quickly get to it if they need to pop put tyre back up, or it's a bit more pressure,
Love it.
it's already ready to rock, and they can keep some for the rest of the day. So,
Good bit of kit, that. I like that.
good bit of kit.
Now, the final thing we need to talk about, I think we should move these things out of the way.
Yes. Well, we could show the frame.
Yes, let's move over. So,
Yeah.
relocated to the Yeti frame, looking a bit worse for wear.
Warranty.
So let's talk about the Trail Tool wrap.
So, racing with frame straps for years, we've all had the same frustrations that the tools are all held in place by an inner tube, typically.
Yep.
So you put the inner tube in first, then they're all surrounded by tools.
Yeah.
That then goes on the frame. Strapping to the frame is not very tight as it is, especially when it gets wet, and you've got to take the whole wrap off every single time to get to your tools. So that can, if it's muddy and wet, you've got a wet frame, then it starts sliding around, it moves, it rotates, hits your knees. It's annoying.
Yeah.
So also when you use that inner tube, there's then nothing to hold the tools in place, and then it's all right up against your frame, and it can scratch your frame. So that's a problem.
First world problem.
First world problem,
But they're
but
big
it
problems.
all adds up. So what we've done to solve that is this strap is separated from the wrap.
Okay.
It's a big step. So this strap, it's got sticky rubber backing on it, so that goes against the frame, and then you wrap it around a bit like a tourniquet, and you find a place that works for you on your bike. You have different linkages, size of frames and stuff. Some might be here, some might be here, top of there, wherever, it goes anywhere. And then you tighten that on. That's not moving anywhere.
It's good, yeah.
You can do that before you go for a ride. So your frame's dry, you find the right place, you don't have to take that off. So that's now stuck on there. You then get your wrap and you stick it to the underside of there, and then that goes around to finish. So that's like that. So if you want to get your tools mid-ride, all you have to do is take that off.
Like that.
You leave that in place, don't touch it. Because if it's then rainy, it's not going to get under there and start making it slide around. The other nice thing is, because that's still stuck on there, you can stick that on there.
Oh.
So when you're riding, you pop your bike up against a tree or something, line it over, you've got somewhere to pick your bits from as a little tool wall.
Brilliant.
While you're working. So otherwise, all your stuff's on the floor, you've got to take it out, your inner tubes everywhere. And actually, talking of inner tubes, so with this one, you can put an inner tube under here first, then tighten it up,
Squeeze it in.
or not. So actually, if you have it and then you use it, it doesn't impact the function of the wrap at all. And another one, if you're going out on a big mountain day, so you want to carry more stuff, or you've got a big bag with you, and you want to carry less on the frame, you can roll this up and put it in your bag, and then carry just a tube on here and be a bit more lightweight on the frame. So it's really flexible and adaptable to how you want to use it, actually.
For me, the more that you can carry on the bike, it takes the weight off my back, and it's win-win.
Especially on an e-bike, right? Because there's a lot of down tube storage at the moment on pedal bikes, but you can't do that on an e-bike because there's a battery there. So this more than ever actually is important. And also I didn't show it before, this is a waterproof fabric, welded, so there's no way of water getting in there other than the hole at the top. And then there's a waterproof zip, YKK zip in there for spare derailleur batteries, split links, money, van keys, whatever you want. So you just have to make sure when you roll this up and put it on that this opening isn't facing up. You want to face it down, because then the water's going to drain away. It's not going to go inside that pocket at the top. So just a bit of common sense when using it, but
super neat design. I'm impressed.
well, we knew the problems, and it took a couple of years, not constant. We had other stuff going on. Bought a sewing machine, learnt to sew. Sewing patterns are a nightmare. And just made a load of really crap prototypes and failed a lot of times until we got something that worked.
I sewed some van cushions once upon a time, and it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, so I can sympathise
The
a
whole
lot.
inside out thing, making it inside out and then turning it back it's a nightmare.
Fair play.
So,
nice bit of kit there.
A really honest and insightful chat with Bryn there, I'm sure you'll agree. I've got a lot of time for the Peaty's brand, backed by a personal hero of mine, Steve Peat, plus their fairly unique and sustainable approach to bike care, tyre repair, and a whole lot more. I get the feeling they're just getting started. started. And I can't wait to see what comes next from Peaty's products. Now remember, if you're interested in anything we spoke about today, then just use the discount code above to use at your next purchase from the Peaty's website. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe on the way out, and look out for more episodes of the EMTB podcast coming very soon.